10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome everybody. Wednesday once again. What is today? September? I think it's the 28th, ain't it? My hair looks a little messed up, doesn't it? I should have combed my hair. September the 28th. You know, I'm so unprepared. I didn't even see what anything was today. So, well, let me see. Well, I got my phone right here. Let me tell you right now. All the precious market prices are down right now. Gold 1657, silver 1892. That's all we gotta know. Let's see. So generally, I'm so unprepared. What is today in history? I mean, what is the national day? Generally, I know all that type of stuff. I don't know anything. Okay, let me go this way here. See what's happening here. Okay, you can't say that, Josh, to me. Hello, everyone. You gotta say that in the national chat room. Got Josh sent me the private message saying hello, everyone. You got to say that normally. Okay, let's see what we got. Dennis, welcome, Dennis. Patty's Adventures, welcome. Daniel Grubby. Raining again, not going to be dry washing. No, we're not going to be. Well, actually, you know, it's dried up here. It only takes a little bit to dry wash again. Josh, welcome, Josh. Daniel Strickland, good evening. Daniel, channel supporter, appreciate you, man. Trucking Nomad, appreciate you. Channel supporter, welcome. Buck Rackley, welcome. Rupert Garcia. Randy. Hey, Randy, are you going up to Meadview again this year? We're going to see you up there. You're going up to the favorite spot, camping, going to go find some more gold. Herb, welcome, Herb. Is today Son's Day, Patty? The other day, I keep seeing everybody post about Daughter's Day, and I keep thinking I should post pictures of my daughter. Now, Son's Day, I can't keep up with all that. Trippin' Tommy, hello, Trippin' Tommy. Jordan Hagar, welcome. Anyways, so that's what's happening on my neck of the woods. I can't chat in the group chat. Okay. Anyways, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know what national day it is. I don't know what life is. All that I know is it's 5 o'clock someplace. Cheers, everyone. Randy, let's see if everything works out. I'm planning on. Well, I hope to see you out there, Randy. You know, Randy, I still got your. Randy gave me this last year. He told me I have to wear this around my neck whenever I go metal detecting, and it will help me find gold. And what it is, it's a coon pecker. I've never saw a coon pecker before. That's pretty cool, coon pecker. So yes, I still got that, Randy. Don't wear around my neck when I go detecting. Maybe that's why I don't find a lot of gold anymore. But you ought to come back out. It was fun. Anyways. That's all that I know what's happening on my neck of the woods, what I know. I don't know anything else. I can tell you the new newsletters are out. You guys are club members. You guys got your newsletters via email. Some of them was sent out to you. If you guys are not club members, you can still get a copy of the email. If you go, the newsletters, if you go to goldfeverradio.com. And go down there and you can fill out the thing to get a copy of the newsletter, and you'll get a copy of the newsletter sent to you. It just tells you all types of stuff, what's going on or what's not going on or what's happening. We have a Patreon outing, November. I have no notes. I am so unprepared. I think that's 11th, 12th, and 13th, I think, up in Meadview, my Patreons and channel supporters. That's we're going to go up there and do some detecting, find some gold. We have our New Year's extravaganza. That's always fun at the end of the year. Gold digging and prospecting and all that type of stuff. That is, I think that starts the 28th. We split all the gold we find, all your meals, all that. We roast a pig. We just have a good time. Any information, call the camp 928-851. Hell, I don't know what that number is. I should write that stuff down. Anyways, you guys all know that information. Call the campground. I'm so unprepared. God, you guys think I would be better prepared. Anyways, our metal detecting hunts are starting in October. This Saturday is our first hunt. The first Saturday of every month, we do our metal detecting hunts right here. Give away metal detectors and all types of cool stuff. Anyway, that's going to start this Saturday. So we hope you guys that are around, you'll be out for that. Okay. Let's see. National Drink Beer Day today. Herb, is that what today is? National Drink Beer Day? Well, salute. I'm not drinking beer. I got wine. Wine and some type of juice. I don't know what they call it, but it tastes good. Cool. National Beer Drinking Day. I like it. It's about freaking time, huh? What's the weather like in Arizona today? Today's 95 degrees. It's sunny, warm. We've had a lot of heavy rains. It's washed a lot of gold in. The gold is plentiful. Been out leveling the new sites, the new RV spots. Just put in 4 new RV spots. That brings our total of 17 now. So we have 17 sites here. 4 brand new ones just put in. Been working on that the last couple of weeks. Trip and Tommy came out, helped me with some of the electrical type of stuff. But got the water lines in, got everything in, so those are up and ready. Been leveling them out. Got rock supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So we're rocking and rolling. The season is coming on fast and furious. The gold has been moved around. Prospectors wanted. Come on out to the campground. Okay. Yukon Cornelius. Welcome. Terry Curry, welcome. See, it worked. Richard Duke from Mississippi. Welcome, welcome. Anyway, we got a guest with us. Remember last week, this guy was supposed to be with us. The Mining Journal. We talk a lot about the Mining Journal on this show. You guys hear me talk a lot about that all the time. About how, in my opinion, this is my opinion now. You know, I've been known to be wrong and everybody yells at me, but that's okay. But in my opinion, this is the best prospecting magazine you can ever purchase. This is never a waste of your subscription. This magazine covers everything about prospecting, from dry washing to, everything. How to read rivers, metal detecting, glacial deposits. Everything. A year subscription. You cannot go wrong. We've talked about this forever. Anyway, that's who's on the show tonight. Can you believe it? Josh himself. So let's bring him all in. We're going to talk about gold prospecting, and we're going to have a great old time. If you guys got any questions, put them into the chat room, and I'll pass them on. And let's bring Josh on in here right now. Josh, welcome.
Hello, everybody. What's up, Jack?
Hey, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and start from there?
Hey, guys, I'm Josh Reinke. I own the ICMJ magazine as of, last few months, April. And I also run the RGM Mining Group, which is a group with California mining claims, claims access outings.
So you say you're the owner of the mining. How does that feel to say I am the owner of the magazine? How does that feel?
Well, I'll be honest, I try to stay humble, so I kind of don't let myself feel a lot of that, but it feels amazing. My family have been miners for a really long time, and to see it come back to the heart of the gold country here in California, in Grass Valley, and with a true miner like myself, to me, I'm just a steward, of what it is, and hope to carry it on for another 20 years, and then maybe we'll find someone else to take over then.
Good. So this is about gold prospecting. Prospecting. And you talk about so many different articles in here. When did this thing start? How did it start?
The magazine itself?
Yeah.
It started
Not you.
Yeah. It started in August of 1931 was the first issue. In fact, give me 1 second because I have it right here, and I'll show it to you. I can't really open it, but there you go. Let me get it in there.
Wow.
That's the first issue ever printed of the California Mining Journal. See if I can get the date.
One.
The very first, right there, August 1931.
August 1931.
And of course, as I say, I'm proud that it comes back, to Grass Valley, because they're, the very first one featuring Nevada and Sierra County mines. That's us right here. So yeah, it's been around since then, and we have an entire library full. Here, let me see. Check it out. Well, those are research books. These are all issues.
Holy.
And it continues along as well. But yeah, so
wow. Awesome.
Yeah, and Scott and Sally Harn ran it for 20 years, and then it was in their family, I believe, for 3 generations, and then they bought it from a guy that started it. So it was definitely a super blessing, when they approached us and decided, hey, what do you guys think about carrying on this legacy? And so, it's a huge blessing, and not only that, but an honor.
I would think so, because I think that'd be pretty cool. And, I remember a long time ago, I don't know, I did some video. It was that Easy Pickens machine that I did. And I know back in the early 90s, he did some advertising in that magazine. So I went back to find the ads, and I had to show, the comparison to the ad that he actually had that in that magazine. And so, yeah. It's what I've always liked about, you could go back. This was kind of really cool. You could go back 50 years in the mining journal, say, and look at all the advertising and what type of prospecting equipment was out and what is out today, and do a comparison. What works, what don't work, who is stuck around for the nick of time. I mean, it's just so much knowledge over these years.
Yeah, and it's insane. I mean, we look through these because we started a new article in the magazine called Blast from the Past. And it's where we take, we search through the old magazines and find something of interest and then reprint it with pictures of the pages. It includes old ads, and to bring that history back. Because, nobody's read these old ones. Nobody that's alive really has read.
Not back in the 1930s.
Right. So to be able to bring that history back too is so cool in the Blast from the Past articles. But yeah, the amount of things in here, and what's super cool to me is that a lot of the old ads are from places here that are here in Grass Valley, Nevada City, like the Miners Foundry in Nevada City. They used to make all sorts of stamp mills. They made all sorts of mining equipment. And so you could actually see their ads in the magazine. Now it's more of a tourist place where people book, weddings and stuff like that. But it's still there. You can go visit that exact foundry. So that kind of local history that's included in it, even all the way back to the first issue, is really special.
No, I know a lot of things have changed over the time. I'm just looking here. Terry Gomez, welcome. Richard Billen, welcome. Richard Duke. A couple of weeks ago, you mentioned about supporting other people's channels. How would that work if I had a channel on Rumble? Rumble's a different, you can post anything you want in this chat room. If you've got a channel and you want people, post your channel, post the link to your channel. Max.
What's up, Max? I know Max.
You know Max?
Yeah,
Heavy
he's a member
pants,
of the
y'all.
RG group.
Keep up the great work, Josh. All right. Craig Carter. Hey, Jack and Josh. Finally caught a live one. All right, Craig, welcome. So, the mind, this is something, I mean, you've been around. Well, I'll ask you that here in a moment. But you look at the old scale of mining, how it used to be compared to what's happening today. It's a lot. I mean, a lot of it's still kind of the same, but there's a lot of difference. And I would say probably the attitudes, the uh, uh, the concepts, the equipment may be a little bit. The 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 overall thing is. I mean, let's just say, remember years ago, this was probably back in the early 2000s, maybe late 1900s, 1998, 90, somewhere in there, that tongue nugget up at Rich Hill was found. So gold kind of wasn't a big deal. It just kind of was there. When that thing was found, all of a sudden miners came out of the woodwork, and everybody was mining and everybody was talking and everybody just wanted to go for gold and having a great time, and it was just such a lifestyle. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of dwindled away. And here we are today where it's like, yeah, that's not a big deal. But yet, gold is higher today than it was back there, but yet it's just not a big deal today.
Yeah. So, I think I'd have to blame technology for that. The new gold rush of how to be a successful human in this world to make a bunch of money is with computers. And so it seems to me probably 2 or 3 generations sort of really skipped the gold knowledge. They don't understand it. Most people think there's no gold left. They got it. Mining destroys the world and there's all these preconceived ideas. And people just don't understand that really there is gold to be found, and not only is it can be rewarding financially, but tell me of another hobby that you spend all this money to go camping and all these, uh, equipment and all this stuff. None of them actually pay for themselves, or at least have the potential to. So even as a hobby, gold mining has more reward than anything. But I think just knowledge. I think the world took a different turn with technology, and people weren't trying to work off the land like they were back then. And I think that's the difference.
And that's probably, I mean, you're right about that. Gold prospecting is probably the only hobby that can actually pay you back. Hey, you got a red cup too, buddy.
I know. Yeah. Hey, cheers.
Yeah, gold prospecting is the only hobby that can actually pay you back. Very true.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's the old saying that if you have $1 and I give it to you and you give it to another guy, that dollar just circulates and goes nowhere. But every time you pull gold out of the ground and you put it back into the economy, you're actually strengthening the economy because you're not circulating, you're actually putting into the economy.
You're creating wealth.
Yeah. So,
and that's the thing about it. That's I think that's where the gold bug begins, is with that idea of wealth creation. People get the idea, I can get rich like they did, and honestly, some people do still to this day. Some guys, I do believe, have luck, just like fishing. I know guys that go out there and just find gold, and it's like, wow. But then in the end, it's all about your knowledge and how much time you've put into it. Most really good prospectors that do really well and find good gold, it's because they've spent a ton of time learning in basically one area, metal detecting or placer mining or hard rock mining. And they become their own expert on it. And then they're able to produce gold with knowledge. And that's what it's really all about. I mean, luck is cool. And like I said, I know guys that get really lucky. And for them, it works out all the time, but it can't always work out that way. So knowledge is definitely more important.
knowledge. I mean, it's good. And I remember, I don't know when I got involved with gold. I think someplace around the early '90s, mid '90s, someplace in that area, watching some of the old Gold Fever shows with Tom Massey and I just in Buzzard and Perry Massey, and I became addicted to gold. I became a sponge. I couldn't learn enough. I bought every piece of equipment. I went all over the place to California Motherlode, down Italian Bar, and I just had to gold. I left my family. I gave everything up. I abandoned everything. I was a 49er. I was after gold, and I mean, it's just different today. It just seems not the same. You don't get that in say people like gold, but it's not that same enthusiasm. It seemed like it was back then, where I don't know how to explain it. I mean,
Well, I'll add this to it. There's a new like a new type of miner coming up, and they're very interested. And not only are they very interested, but they're interested to the point to where they made Discovery's Gold Rush shows some of the top watched shows in the world. And so those people, like, it's still there. It's just, I believe it's a lack of knowledge, and that's what the RGM and the ICMJ both focus on, is to spread that knowledge and give people real, true knowledge and educate people on what's actually happening, not, the fear mongering that, some groups like greenie groups and, people like that try to place on us. And so it's really, again, just a lack of knowledge. And the best thing we can do is to spread that to everybody, to, continually tell people, hey, we're not the ones that put the mercury there. We're the ones that are trying to clean it up. And so changing that perception in the world, which Gold Rush, the TV shows on Discovery and all that, sort of opened up this new market of people to actually get more involved. And, because everybody's looking for a hobby, and everybody's done fishing and hiking and, camping and everything else. And I really do think that the interest in gold mining goes beyond, well, I'll just say it's been in humans' nature since the beginning of time to, hoard gold or relish gold, to look as gold as a financial means. And that's in our DNA. That's not going away. It's just about opening doors and giving people that think there's no gold left, it's just gone, it's a dead thing. We need to give them opportunity to come out and experience it for themselves.
I mean, that's absolutely right. I think that watching the old shows, like with Buzzard and Tom and all of that, they talked about you'd watch them. They'd go out, look for gold. They might find it, they might not. Where to do? They'd fall down, laugh, have a good time, and that was very interesting. Buzzard, they would just sit there across the creek bank and give his knowledge and yak and be very political and all of that. And then that all went away. And then this new generation came in, and you had the Gold Rush. That very first Gold Rush show that came on, they went out there and they got stuck in the mud and they had a hard. That was real. That's real.
That'd be like us going out there and doing it. We'd have the same struggles. That's the real deal. Yeah.
Right. The second year they went out, they're all in new motor homes, they're all in new trailers, and it became very it wasn't the same. It's like, this could be the end of their season, the same old thing. It's like it became so, it wasn't real anymore. It wasn't a show.
I don't watch them anymore.
No, I gave up.
Totally.
It's not.
The first season was all right, but after that, to me, it was like, man, I don't know. It's just, I know that a lot of the things, the way they do things, aren't actually real. It's all for TV.
No.
I mean, honestly, nobody hoards their gold in a jar until the end of the season. You have bills to pay. You have people to pay. That gold is how you pay it. You cash that in every week. And so, these jars of gold they have, the end of the season way ups, and
they don't have any nuggets. It's just all fine stuff.
Well, the nuggets were picked out and put in their personal.
Yeah. So, but no, you're right. There has been a serious change in the market, in the TV. It's just all became more. I don't know what they call that type of TV where people watch. There's a market, like the Kardashians and all this type of stuff. That's all that same group of thing. It's just not the same. No, and I wish that would come back. But I can honestly say, out of all the magazines out there, and I'm not boasting. I'm seriously here. This magazine, in all seriousness, you talk about dry washing, you talk about deserts, you talk about glacial deposits, you talk about cleaning the gold, you talk about, seriously, the magazine talks about prospecting, and so many people that are starting out, and you get so much knowledge from, and it's not, there's other magazines out there that will tell you Flim Flam fell down the mountain today and had a fall down, and here's all the gold he found. But how about a lot more knowledge, and how about educating? I really think that magazine is probably the best magazine out there for education.
It definitely is. There's only one other magazine out there anymore, to be honest, that has to do with actual gold prospecting. And that's the GPA magazine, which is
I disagree with you on that. That has to do with gold prospecting, but there's a lot of political involved with that. A lot of let me show you what the hierarchies are doing, and every picture is about all the hierarchies and all of that. That's not a gold prospecting magazine. I disagree with you on that one.
My point is that that's the only other one that's even in the realm. No,
I would say I got them all right here. The only one I would say is in the realm would be the American Digger magazine.
Okay.
They show you about, metal. It's all metal detecting.
Metal detecting, yeah.
They had one of our articles in here about finding a bunch of gold a while back too. But it's not about, we're all famous people. Look at all of our pictures and we're all great. That's all that gold prospectors matter. To me, that's a garbage magazine. If I want to look at pictures like a Playboy, I would look at that magazine. If I want to find knowledge of what's going on, I'm looking at the mining journal.
I hear you. And honestly, I respect the GPAA just because of their past. And, without them, the mining community is, it wouldn't be what it is today, for sure. A lot of people wouldn't have the opportunity. So in no way do I want to disrespect them.
No, I understand. And I totally agree. I think when the buzzard started, that 100%. Without the buzzard, we would not be doing what we do today, without a doubt.
Exactly.
But after Tom and Perry left, it became very political. It's not the same anymore. It's just not the same.
Yeah. But the ICMJ is, you're right. It's all about knowledge. It's all about sharing people's knowledge, and smart people too. Geologists, and not only geologists, but prospectors that are like in the October issue, we have Don Robinson, who writes for us every once in a while. And then we have Ron Kluwer, who's the president of PLP, will write for us. And so, there's really good prospectors out there that write for us that openly share all of their tips, experiences. Ray Mills writes for us monthly. And, Ray's an awesome guy, just in person. He's really, really cool. And he writes some really good articles. He shares his experience, tells you where to look. And so it's not just stories, it's actual real experience from real people who have been doing it for longer than I've even been alive. And so, in that aspect, it's the best. You bet it is. And then the miners market, of course, is packed full of all the best ads for properties and equipment and services, things like that.
Well, that's going to lead me to another question here. Let me go through here. Let's see. Paul, thanks for posting. You'd be on, Josh. Thank you to the government. I don't know what that is. John Quist. Finding gold is fun. Looking for gold, even if you get skunked, is fun. I know it's not so much having the gold as it is just in finding the gold. Let's see. I'm late. Gold Pan, Santan in New Mexico. Welcome, Paul Mishak. Welcome. Jack is still addicted. Yeah, I've always been addicted to gold. Trip and Tommy, most folks don't know you can go out and find gold. To gold, that is, that's all. That's not all I think about it. I think about other things too. Richard Duke, I watched those old shows, started in much the same way. Tad Hamilton, welcome. Let's see. Okay, I'm way behind here. John Quist. You guys make it fun for us newbies. The stories you tell and the fun you seem. Craig Carter, Dom G. Okay, I said hello. Del Lane. Hello, Del. Anyway, so yes. Okay, so what? I forgot where I was going. Okay, so let's just say like there's probably so many people out there that they go out and they have this mining adventure and they say, wow, I didn't know this. And they think I could write a story. Or me, I think, I could write a story about dry washing because everybody I know dry washing is screwed up. They don't know how to tell how to really dry wash. They're full of the night. I could write a story about dry washing. How did anybody want to write a story in here? How does that all come to be? Or could they?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, honestly, the magazine is nothing without the community. Obviously financially, but more than that, the articles. These are all people that are just miners that we're able to speak to and ask them, hey, would you be willing to write articles with us or for us? And then they would also, a lot of people come up and just say, hey, I got one for you. Here you go. And I read it, and it's a great article. So we run it. And so if anyone does want to submit an article, which everyone is encouraged to and welcome, because the point is that it's all about you guys and making sure that the knowledge gets out there. And if you have something that you want to share that you feel is important for other prospectors to know that you've not seen get out there before, please, give us a ring. You can call us on the phone, find us at ICMJ.com, or you can email me directly at josh@ICMJ.com with your article, and I'll check it out.
So if I sent you an article, but I'm not a rocket scientist in all the other aspects, you'd put it together and make an awesome article.
If it's got the content that'll fit, then you bet we will. Yeah, it's not about degrees or anything. It's about experience. If we could get full of geologists, everyone who writes for us is a geologist. Honestly, it'd be kind of boring. It'd be like just all information. You have to have that personal pizzazz, and we really want to focus on finding a few female prospector writers as well, because I think
awesome.
people would really like to not only see their pictures, but but also hear it from a female's perspective and just bring that aspect into it. So,
all right, I've got an article coming your way.
Then, yeah, please do. We need it.
But no, I remember years ago I wrote something for some magazine, and they said, this is really cool, but you talk like you're from Missouri, and I got to re-edit all this stuff.
That is tough. That's tough. We get some stuff sometimes, and it's like,
I said, really, screw you there.
I try not to kick them back, but if I spend more than an hour on it, and I'm like only halfway through, I'm like, I can't do it. Editing can be tough. Definitely.
Well, that's what I said. I got a lot of good ideas. I just can't put them on the paper,
Well, hey, give it a shot. And I am pretty good at editing. I'm pretty good at cleaning it up. I even use computer programs where I plug it in and it tells me, what errors or what.
I know when you say, yeah, I went out prospecting, I fell in the freaking ass mud, and I freaking had a hard day, and I freaking pissed me off. and you say, dude, I can't say this
That
stuff.
won't work. Yeah, not gonna work.
No. Let's see. Got 3-year subscription ICMJ because of jacket. Hey, thank you, Paul Bichette.
Thanks, Paul.
Let's see. Terry agreed. Terry Carter, still the best magazine and still applies today. Absolutely best magazine. I'll agree with that. All right. I'm going to go pay some bills. Let me run this commercial. You want to take a break, Josh? Hang with us a moment. We'll be right back.
I'm here.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. Hold on.
ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal is the only monthly gold prospecting magazine published in the United States and is the most comprehensive and respected magazine about gold prospecting on the market today. With readers in all 50 states, it features articles on detecting, high banking, dredging, small-scale operations, assaying, basic geology, how to read the land, regulations, and more. Our monthly Ask the Experts column is answered by true experts. It features answers to readers' questions on processing, detecting, geology, and any other questions you may have related to finding and recovering gold and other precious metals. The Mining Journal features the most extensive selection of equipment, mining properties, services, and more, and a classified section featuring over 20 times more new and used items than the nearest competitor. The Mining Journal has been in continuous publication since 1931. A full 12 issues is available for just $27.95, and discounts are available for 2- and 3-year subscriptions. And an online subscription gives you access to over 3,000 articles going back nearly 20 years. Our purpose is to teach you how to find more gold. ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal is the tool you need to succeed. It's time to raise your gold prospecting knowledge to the next level with ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal. Give us a call at 831-479-1500 or visit www.icmj.com. That's www.icmj.com.
All right. Look at that. Perfect.
I'm back.
Perfect timing, huh? Anyways, I don't know if all that, the latest of all that you heard is still all current. If not, we'll have to update all of that.
It's not. No.
Okay. Well,
prices changed. That was like 5 years ago, probably.
Okay. Well, that was whoever did that from the past.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So if we need to change it, let's change it and do it current. Apparently, we need to. So, of your old people there before you came in to be, who did all of that. So yeah, let's do a new one and update that.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Craig Carter, Josh, thank you for providing a digital-only subscription. While I read the printed version cover to cover while at home, it's great to have an option when in the field. Paul, nice commercial choice.
Hey, Paul.
Jack, I bought a mini monster and made sure I told Kelly it was because of his appearance as well as you on YouTube. Well, okay, congratulations, John. I hope you'll enjoy that. 20 years of archives in the online versions. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So, hey, look at that. Everybody likes a money journal, don't they?
I sure do.
I hope you do. I should have ran out and go find. I've got some old magazines. I should have went and found some of my old copies of magazines. I know you got a lot of older ones than I do, but I got some pretty. Sometimes you go to yard sales and you'll see them in big bundles. And the yellow ones are the older ones. So if you find the yellow ones, those are if you find these colors, they're the newer ones. But if you find those yellow ones in big bundles, you want to grab them. And people will sell them in yard sales and stuff.
They were yellow until, let me see, I'm looking right now. Until about 94.
Yeah, probably pretty close.
Yep, in the 80s and 90s. But after that, they went to they were still kind of yellow. I'm looking at them right now. I can see them as they go. And then they turn, the more brighter colors around pretty much as soon as Scott and Sally took over in the early 2000s.
But so sometimes you go to yard sales and they'll sell them in bundles, So I snatch them up. I love old magazines. There's a lot of knowledge in magazines, just it's like the old Playboys. I just like to look at the pictures and stuff,
Well, yeah. Sometimes I wonder what someone would pay, for a complete set of ICMJs. And I don't even have one. We've got holes in some of our issues. But I wonder, what that would be worth at this point. Sometimes I think maybe not much, a couple grand or something like that. But that's cool. I do know that there's people out there that do have complete collections. They call me and tell me pretty often.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Wow.
I'm like, well, we have some holes if you feel like donating a few, And they're like, oh, that's worth money.
Oh, yeah. And Daryl says, love the article, probably a reprint about Earl P. Dorr and his Underground River of Gold. That was a book, The River of Gold, I think, that came out too earlier. But Josh, I'd like to see an article about all the fraudulent gold gimmicks trying to dupe the gold miner. Terry says.
Well, that's a pretty subjective issue. And
I know. Don't buy anything that you get an email from Jawan Jabua from out of the country.
That's true. Like usually if they're in Africa or, Ghana or don't buy it from them. So he'd have to be a little more specific about what he's asking about.
That's right. That you won the lottery and they want to share their fortune with you. And please pay $14.95.
Yeah, I know. It's like just send me $300 and we'll get you 15 million in a week,
Yeah. But people they get drawn into that, and that's what's sad. But some people do, because they want to believe. Some people just have a good heart, and they just believe I can make $1 million by sending you money, and they believe that, and then they get taken advantage of.
Yeah, it's sad for sure. But I was that guy at one point, and then you learn your lessons and go, hey, I'll never do that again.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
I never gave anybody in Ghana any money, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Even the ICMJ gets people that want to post ads in the mine market, like from Ghana, and they're like, "We have gold for sale, 10% on the dollar," and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. All right, so. But what about, okay, so let's go into, so when you get into the classified section in the back,
Mm-hmm.
and do you ever look at it, do you, people can just put anything they want on, property for sale, or analysis, just everything for sale. If somebody just sends you the ad, you just print the ad. So if it's like, hi, I'm Jabal from Iguana, and I want you to buy my company. Do you just print that ad, or do you say, you know what, I reject that ad?
Yeah, you bet. No, I delete it. There's a few pay dirt companies that we won't associate with or allow to advertise. But for the most part, well, not for the most part, every ad is screened to make sure it's a real person. And when someone submits an ad to us, we actually have to, we make them call us on the phone. And that's the other thing too, is to make payment, they have to call. So most of the scammers won't give you a call. They'll just be like, oh, okay, I'll pay, here's my PayPal email, send me a bill, get it in there or something weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sense. So it's pretty easy to weed out the ones that aren't a part of it.
That makes sense. So I was talking to Mike the other day or a couple of weeks ago. He was on the show and he said he stopped by, and I was just looking him and Cash, this gold sand things, and he said, "Yeah, I helped do the ads and all that type of stuff."
Yeah, they came by, did some cool stuff. We hung out, did a pros and cons where they're the pros and you bring your cons. They'll help you go through and find the gold. And so they were hanging out and they had their RV here. And I told them, hey, let's get an ad in there for you guys. And they agreed. And so, yeah, he was out in his RV on my internet, designed the ad and emailed it to us.
Yeah, let me see.
Mike and Cash are great guys. They're some of the coolest guys around for sure.
They are. Let me see. Where did I leave off at? Let's see. Terry, Tad. Thank God. Let's see. I'm just looking. Trucking Nomad, channel supporter. Welcome. Thank you, Trucking. I love the old ads for treasure detectors that have 20-mile range. Yeah. Banshee Mining. Welcome. Tina at Williams. Wish I could stick around, have a meeting. Okay, take care. Sometimes I got to keep an eye on them because sometimes I get the love from China. Please, so I got to hurry and delete.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Once upon a time, let's just say years ago, not that many years ago, gold probably hit someplace way up there, 2,400 an ounce, whatever, and everybody was kind of starting to get excited, and then it dropped back down. Gold right now is the lowest it's really been for a long time, actually. Gold is at 1,600 and something right now. 1,654. It's down, actually. And just a few weeks ago, it was over 1,800.
Yeah, but a couple of years ago, it was 1,200. People lose
it was never
over $100 or $200 drop, and they don't have the full picture in mind. 1,600 an ounce is still a really high price. We're only $500 off from the all-time high, which was just over $2,000 an ounce. It wasn't 24, I don't believe. Maybe so. I don't know the exact.
Well, it was up there higher. It was. But why is gold dropping? What is going on in the markets right now that is causing gold to drop so drastically?
It has to do with the dollar versus gold, right? Everybody says that when the dollar drops, gold goes up. And it's fairly true, but like any market, they all kind of drop down together and then we'll recover back. The gold will recover. And when it recovers, it'll be even stronger because the dollar won't recover. And so that's the thing that people aren't understanding. And if you look at most of the forecasts anybody right now is saying that gold is going to go down, and then February to March, it'll start hiking back up. And we're looking at least, 25 again. It'll hit that top and we'll see what happens. Can it break it and go up? That depends on what the dollar is doing. And so that's the whole point is, it's to me, it seems more like manipulation from the government. They try to suppress the gold price to match the dollar worth. And the point of doing that is hopefully they can recover and then they both can go back up equally. But if the dollar doesn't recover, which who knows, it might not. We've seen worse recessions than what we're looking at right now.
Well, gold, we know the dollar is worthless, but, just not that long ago, gold was like 1,900, and then all of a sudden it just kept dropping. Somebody told me
it's normal. Think about it like this. Look at the silver charts. What was it a year ago? Maybe a year and a half, maybe even 2 now. I don't know. Time flies right now. But silver dropped all the way down to like $10 an ounce, $11 an ounce, right in that range. And then immediately took a dive or big trend upwards. And so that's the way it'll work again here with gold, I believe, is that you got to ride this thing out. And when it gets low, which the low is about 12 to 1300, buy gold.
12 to
Because
1300.
yeah, that's, I believe, what we're looking at coming up probably about February to March. And this is just my ideas and my research. I'm not an expert. But February to March, we're going to see a pretty steep decrease until then, and then after that, I think we're going to see it pop up, and then by the end of 24, or I'm sorry, the middle of 24, we'll probably see about 2,500 an ounce. I think it's going to test the upper limits that it's been at, and I think it's going to go a little bit above. Some guys are saying 5,000 an ounce. I don't think we're there yet. It doesn't seem to me like it's that type of collapse. That's basically everything's collapsed. It'll go that and above. It's limitless depending on how much the dollar is worth. So it's just suppression at this point is what we're seeing, is market suppression to make sure that as the market slowly crashes, as it has been for the past year, easy, they try to keep the value of gold along the same lines. And so that way, because when gold starts hiking up above the value of the dollar, gold goes up, dollar goes down, that's your immediate sign that there's a really bad crash. So they try not to have that happen, but Band-Aids can only last so long. Eventually they'll get ripped off.
Well, I don't really follow huge, but I know a lot of times when I have to buy, sell, and trade gold all the time, I try to keep an eye on the market. And if you watch the markets when the U.S. is closed and the overseas market is open, if it's going down, then when it hits the U.S. market, it's going to continue in those terms too. If it's going up, so when you're buying and trading. But somebody told me a while back that the reason gold all of a sudden started seriously taking a downfall was because Russia is dumping so much gold into the market to try to fund this war that it has brought the price of gold down. When people are hoarding gold, it goes up. When people are dumping gold, it goes down. So I don't know if that's true. I mean, some people say, oh, it's oil. If oil goes up, gold goes up. Oil goes down, gold goes down. So there's so many different, stock market goes up, gold goes up. Stock market goes gold. So many different scenarios as to why.
Well, look at it this way. The Russia dumping gold in, that makes sense because, their money's worth nothing, right? They can't go spend a ruble or whatever it is because they're not worth anything. So the only value that they have right now to trade for things is gold. But let's see that as a positive point, because actually that's proof that when things are tough for a country, gold is the bottom line value. It is the thing that people trade when your dollar or money source has gone to nothing. And you see that in Southern America, in the countries where all these refugees are coming from. They're not using money. There's no paper money there. It's worthless. What they're doing is actually they're finding gold and they're shaving it into little powder and they trade it. And, that's happening around the world. So those, in a way, you can see all of that as a positive sign, because in reality, like I said, it's going to drop a little bit, but then when it comes back, and if things really do crash the way a lot of people are thinking that they're going to, we're going to be on top. Businesses like mine, people who give opportunities for people to find gold, and people who are finding gold and trading in mining, those are going to be the businesses that are recession proof. And it's funny because we have a library of ICMJ magazines that are bound over here, and it goes from 1940 to 1998. And you can actually look at the thickness of the magazines and tell what gold price in the economy was, because in the early 80s, you had the economy tank, and then gold price shot up. And this is the thing that people don't understand, is that it takes time. There's suppression. The government puts Band-Aids on all these problems, and then eventually those band-aids fail. And when that happens, gold price shoots up. And we've seen it time and time again. You need to think long term, not short term. And I don't mean as far as holding your gold, I mean as far as what gold will do. We need to make sure that we're looking long term and look in the past what's happened. Because when the dollar drops and the gold price goes up, these magazines get 3 times thicker. And so the gold mining industry takes off. I'm talking. Look, let me go ahead and show you real quick.
And they cost more to print when they get thicker.
Well, but we're making more money. So see the bottom row there? See the books, the bottom row? Those are the early 40s until the late 70s. The top row is the 80s until 1998. And each one of those books is 1 year worth of the mining journal in a bound copy.
Oh, I just see the speakers.
Oh, well, it was right above that.
Okay.
So my point is that even the size of our magazines show that gold is recession proof. And not only is it recession proof, but it's the thing that everyone goes to during a recession. So everybody's afraid of gold price dropping. Oh no, we lost, $200 in the past 6 months. That's normal. That's not a big problem. That's not a big spike. It's all what it's doing, and I do think we're going to get down to $1,300 an ounce again. And when that happens, I suggest you all buy as much gold as you can, because very soon after it, within 6 months, we'll be back up to 2,000. So
I always cringe if I got to buy gold and it's whatever. So I don't think it's going to drop that low. I think that gold is the universal language. It's known worldwide. Years ago when silver was taken off the market and everybody started hardened silver and people wanted it. You could buy a loaf of bread for a silver dime. Everybody wanted the silver. I think gold is that universal language. Gold, it will always be traded. That dollar, you won't be able to buy nothing with that dollar. People want gold. They'll take your gold for food, for gas, or for whatever. They don't want a dollar.
It's built into our DNA. It's just been that way for so long.
Those days are coming.
Yeah.
And so I don't think, I think gold right now the market is very unstable. I mean, I think right now the market's unstable. The economy is unstable. People are so afraid, their 401ks, the gas prices, any time before election too, gold tends to go down, the markets go down. So people are just so afraid right now of what to do, which direction to take. They're scared to death.
It's all normal. And it's like, it's people's minds, like they reset every 6 months. Oh, even though we've seen this pattern happen so many times, this all looks super normal to me. Like you said, right in front of election time. Obviously a bit of recession coming out of COVID, but nothing's just going, which it could. No, and a lot of people say it might, and I don't know. That's always the question: is will it really tank? And if so, that only means good things for gold.
Absolutely, gold will skyrocket. If the economy tanks that bad, gold will go through the roof. And these people that are saying it's going to happen. So I mean, gold right now, 1655. Gold might drop down. I didn't think it would go this low. So gold is going to ride this market out for the next little while, but eventually it'll go up and all good things will happen. Trucking says it's the bond market versus gold. Returns on bonds is rising with the interest rate, so gold has to go lower to compete with the bonds. I'm not a bond person other than I only know James Bond. That's all that I know. The value of the ruble is now tied to gold. The exchange rate of gold is locked in 1,400 an ounce. I don't understand it. I know I don't know. I know some of the government officials want to put us on a global money system, whatever they call that. They want to do away with the money and put us on a global thing. Gold. Screw the government. The gold is where we want to be. Invest in gold. Buy gold. Prospect for gold. Go out, have a great time. Get all the gold you can find, because you know what? The gold is in the ground. Your dollar is in the bank. Hopefully. Where do you keep all your gold, Josh?
I'll be 39 this Saturday. I'm a young guy. I got 3 kids. Thanks. I have 3 kids and a wife, and so my gold goes into someone else's pocket in exchange for cash. Because I don't get to hoard gold yet. So, but we do pretty well up here.
California,
area, we've got all the ancient riverbed channels, hydraulic diggings everywhere. People have been finding gold for, since the gold rush. And this place is about as rich as it gets. You can basically pan any creek in this area and find gold, whether it be small
Grass Valley. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to find it. And then you go up into the hills, same thing. It's there no matter what. So it's really cool to be able to, be in a spot like this for so long. And I guess I'm probably spoiled as far as gold goes because, we have the Yuba rivers. You go out and do a pan and you'll find, 20 little fly specks and then 4 or 5 nice little flecks and 1 little crack. And, it's pretty good stuff. Plus, we have trees. We have water.
We have cactuses. We have dirt. We have
no shade. I'm surprised we don't look more like leather.
So we have gold. I know California was the gold rush without a doubt. It's sad the political that's getting into California, because California was founded on gold and all of that, and where they're at now, it's so sad, because the history of California.
It's true. There's been some bad changes. The biggest one has been, SB 637, which limited dredging and other things. And it limited it to a point where it's unobtainable. The permits are too expensive. They're only available in these tiny areas where there's no gold. So that side of things does suck. But to be honest, only thing that it really stopped was the guys that were doing it along the roads where everyone could see them. People are still out there doing their thing. They're just a little smarter. And I think even the officials are kind of tired of it. They're like, why? Like, I've got better things to deal with, like people who are actually hurting animals and fish, people who are out there doing bad things. And as long as you're a good steward and you pick up after yourself and you create a good relationship with even the forestry, BLM, whoever manages the land that you're on, and, fish and wildlife, then honestly, it's not as bad as it looks. You could still do a lot of things. And they try to rope you into permits that are unnecessary. But if you know your laws, which, I do know quite a bit of them here in California, at least, and mainly by reading and listening to the guys at PLP, Public Lands from the People.
Or subscribing to the Mining Journal.
And that'll help too. And so, if you know your laws out there, and if you know what you're going to do, you go out and you print up the court case that we've already beaten the forestry on. And then you bring your claim paperwork and everything else and proof. And if you go out there in the field and they mess with you and you know what you're doing, then they can't and they won't. And so it's all about education and making sure that and being friendly too helps. I'll be honest. People have this bad idea of forestry and this and that, which is pretty well deserved. I'll be honest. but they're not that bad. I mean, always kind of try to take advantage of the buddy system. Talk to them. And if you know your laws, it doesn't matter how they are or who they are. You present them with what the laws really are. And if they're trying to pull something off that isn't legal, then you tell them, hey, this is, case law. Here's this, here's that. You're wrong. And every time they've done that to me and I push back that way, not only do they gain respect for me, but they don't mess with me at all. And so it's really just all about education and, because the law really is on the minor's side. It really is in a lot of different ways. There's no such thing as an unfettered right to mine. There's no such thing. But we do have rights, and we do have case law that supports a lot of the things that we want to do. And they'll try to tell this, that. But the Forestry Service is a total mess. They don't know what they're doing. Here in California, we have one officer that is actually certified through the minerals program. All of the other people that are managing mining claims and other things like that, they're not even certified through the forestry's mineral program. So that counts against them because legally they cannot testify in court unless they have that certification as an expert. So the point is that they're just running around like a bunch of dummies making up rules. And if you push back and know your own laws, then they back right down and leave you alone. So again, it's not as ugly as it seems out there. You just gotta educate yourself.
That's it. If you know your I mean, it all when the laws started. So we're going to go to California. Gold is discovered in 1848 in California, basically, and everybody flocked. So there was no laws. There was no code of ethics. There was nothing. Then, so they got together and you had your 1872 mining laws. That was the laws of the land. Those were the laws. And then that's what everybody abide by. That's what everybody lived by. And then somehow the government or whoever got involved and said, well, we don't like those laws. We want to change them and you can't do this. So they kind of worked together back and forth for a while until now, basically, the government is basically saying, these are the laws. Screw your old freaking laws. This is the way it is nowadays.
Well, I mean, again, that's that perception that I think isn't quite true. And again, I'm not defending the government at all, trust me. But it's about knowledge. And in any situation, if you know what you're doing and they don't, and you tell them, hey, this is what it really is, show them proof, then they don't have anything to say about it. And if they continue to try, then you go over their head. And that's one good thing about government programs is there's always somebody out there to go over someone else's head. And, if you go with the right channels and you really figure it out, then it's just not as, it's not as bad as people think it is. It's really not.
So you got to know somebody. I mean, let's just say
it's not about knowing people. It's about knowing your laws and pushing back. And then once you have that rapport with them, then people, then they're going to understand, okay, I have to be on the level with this guy. And the other thing too, is if you're talking to someone from the forestry, you ask them first off, are you minerally certified through the forestry's certification program? And if they tell you no, then you tell them, okay, well, I'd like to speak to someone who is, because it's actually illegal, according to all the mining laws, for someone to, they're not allowed to manage mineral claimants without the mineral certification.
Okay, that's very important. That's a very important point right there. We got to alliterate on that. So repeat what you just said again.
Sure. Basically, there's a certification that forestry minerals officers have to go through in order to be certified through their programs to manage mineral claimants. And these are all in the laws. I wish I could read them off right now, but I don't have them in front of me. And so because of that, if a forestry officer, and a lot of times the guys that are, the jerks are the guys that they give the gun and the badge to, the rangers, and they come out and just flexing and, hey, and I've had it happen many times. And I even filed a complaint once in Washington, D.C. through the forestry department. And I got to their internal affairs, which is in Texas. And so, once you understand the way the forestry department is actually structured and works, then these guys, they can't tell you what to do. They can't tell you what not to do. Even the closures for the fires here in California, they've closed the entire forest. Those closures are the laws that make that possible for them to do are regulated under something called a special use permitting. We have court cases that already prove that mining claim owners have the same access rights as private property owners. Therefore, we are not special use permittings. So we're not even to be regulated underneath of the same regulations that they try to close the forest down. Now, if there's a fire, don't go there. But afterwards, they'll continue to close the forest for 5, 6, 7 months, even longer, a year, 2 years. We've seen that. And they try to keep claim owners out while letting in private property owners. And that's not legal. And if anyone has questions along that line, you can always call me. I do have the laws. I can look them up and give you court cases to where people have already won these arguments. And it's all these arguments in the court cases I'm talking about were all won by PLP, Public Lands from the People. And they're actually all available on their website under their accomplishments list. You can go through and see they posted all sorts of court cases that they've won. And they're all about access in different areas and whether miners are polluters or not, and so a lot of these court cases have already been won. And to be honest, legally, the Forest Service here in California, at least, is a total wreck. I don't think they could prosecute a case successfully against a miner who knew what they were doing. I don't think they could do it successfully right now because they already have so much court cases against them and case law against them. That you just bring that into court and there you go. I mean, you can almost answer the complaints with one sentence. And so it's, again, it's not as bad as people think it is.
You just mentioned PLP. So my understanding is PLP is Public Lands for the People.
Yep.
And I think you're a supporter of PLP. So why don't you just kind of maybe broaden on that aspect a little bit, what that's about?
Sure. PLP is actually the original mining rights activist group. Been around since the early 90s, I think. And, they've won multiple court cases. And they've worked on a small budget for the past, 6, 7, 8 years now. And they've continued to move through. They've actually found a way legally for people to dredge in California legally without permits, which is based on reclamation dredging, not for gold, but for recovering mercury and, lead and other things like that. And it's true. The greenie groups here in California are doing that. They're dredging to remove mercury. And not only that, but they're getting grants. And we're talking $25 million, $30 million in government grants to dredge a lake where they recovered, I don't even know the numbers. Last time I checked, it was like 4 grams of mercury, very minuscule for all these millions of dollars. And the people who wrote the laws that outlawed dredging are the same people that are actually dredging for the purpose of mercury remediation. And so PLP understands what they're doing. And they've found a way legally to where you can actually go out there and do it now in California. So if anyone's interested, you join PLP, which is publiclandsforthepeople.org, and they'll send you a card which gives you step-by-step instructions on how to qualify to dredge for reclamation purposes.
And that's pretty cool. I remember this had to be in someplace in the 90s. I remember the Stanislaus River. I was still kind of green back in those days in dredging. And you can pull up the smallest minute mercury, and it will I lost Josh. Josh disappeared. Maybe he'll come back on. So I guess I'm by myself right now. Josh left us. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome. Cheers. Here's Josh back again. Josh is back joining us again.
Sorry, guys. I clicked the wrong button.
So I was just saying that, early 90s, mid 90s, when I used to dredge in California on the Stanislaus River right there and pulling up. And I was green back then, and just the smallest minute mercury, and it will spread to every piece of gold you have. It will just inundate it. And the amount of mercury that was pulled out just right there in that stretch was astronomical. So I could only, and I've heard the stories how the old timers would line their sluice boxes with mercury and blah, blah, blah. And plus, mercury is a natural, a cinnabar, so it comes naturally in the rivers anyways, so somebody is sneaking by. That must be your wife, huh?
Didn't do very good, did she?
No, just walk on through, No sense bending over walking through. Everybody's seen you bending over walking.
Oh, yeah, no, the mercury, it is a problem, but it can be easily managed as well. California used to actually have dump stations where you could bring in recycling stations where you could collect your mercury from dredging or whatever you're doing, retort it off your gold, and then you bring the mercury back into the station and they recycle it. And, the state of California actually said, well, it was too successful, so they had to shut it down. And I guess the point of that is the miners were finding too much mercury, and they're like, what the hell do we do with it? The best thing to do is just leave it where it's at. And so a lot of these regulations and a lot of the problems that we're seeing have to do with laziness in the government, because they don't actually want to spend the money and take the time that it takes to deal with these problems that we have.
I got to go. I'm listening to you. I just got to walk over here a little bit.
All right. Well, I guess he's left me. Anybody got any questions? I can see the chat. All right. Great show. Thanks, guys.
I hear you. No, I just, I play with mercury all the time. I got mercury retorts. I got mercury presses. I got mercury. And I just saw all these bottles full of mercury. And I just thought, man, wouldn't it freak everybody out if I just showed all of this mercury? I got one of the big old flasks that you can't even pick it up. It's so full of mercury. I got more mercury. You know what? I put mercury and I put it in acid and I rolled it in my hands and I played with it. Oh, and I'm dying, It's like.
Yeah. No, I've played with it a lot too in my life. And not played with, but dealt with. And it is pretty serious business. If you go I hear these people that are like, oh, I just light it off with a lighter. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that does you okay. But the problem is that it actually turns into a gas, right? And the reason why it turns into a gas is because it heats up over like 80 degrees. It's not very far up there. And so once it's over 80 degrees, it turns into gas, goes up into the atmosphere. How long do you think it takes to drop back down to 80 degrees or below where it starts turning back into a solid? Not long. So all you've done is put it in the air and then dropped it right back where you are. And so it doesn't just waft away forever. It's transitional based on its temperature. And if
tell her just stand up and walk by. She don't have to crawl. Wait. Hi.
Get out of here. Of course we can. What the hell are you doing?
The door opens up. Something's about to happen. Here she comes crawling through. No, it's true. That's why the retorch, turns to gas and it comes back, but
Hang on real quick. Let's take a moment. I'll introduce my wife. Come on out.
Okay. Come here, honey.
Here's the crawler. This is my wife, Cherie. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Cherie. You are the other half and making it all possible. So
she is, yeah.
Well,
she helps out a lot around here.
He's the brains behind it all, so I just kind of do what I need to help.
Well, I've always said behind every successful man is a good woman. So.
Well, he's a pretty good man, so I'm pretty lucky too.
Yeah.
I need a bathroom break, Jack.
Okay. Take a bathroom break. Go ahead.
Right.
I'll be right back. Let me go find something to play here. Let me go find some type of song or commercial or something. All right, take a break. We'll be right back. Gold Fever Adventures Campground is now open and in full operation. We are currently taking reservations for the upcoming season. Ask us about long-term specials. So call today, 928-851-7167. We can accommodate any size rig, short-term or long-term. There's also a gold prospecting store on site. So stop on by and pick up your gold pens, picks, vials, and etc. before you head on out to the gold fields. We also carry a line of metal detectors like XP Deuses, Fishers, and other brands. And yes, we also have our own gold prospecting club that you can join. You'll receive all the maps, directions, and you can head on out to the gold fields and yes, keep all the gold that you find. So call today, 928-851-7167.
Well, hi, this is Tom Bodette. I'm proud to be part of the Gold Fever radio program, and, well, you should too. We always get out and find a little bit of gold. Sometimes it's a lot, well, sometimes it's just a little. But all in all, we have a lot of fun. Come join us for one of our Gold Fever extravaganzas. You'll be glad you did. So until next time, I hope you get out and find a lot of gold. And remember, I'll keep a light on for you.
Gold Fever Adventures is looking for a few prospectors who really love digging for gold. Some of my friends have been telling me that I'm getting too old to dig anymore. They also say I need to think smarter, so I have a great plan. I need prospectors to dig for me. Hey, don't worry, I'll show you where to dig at, and you can use all of my equipment. I mean, that's only fair, since I'll be keeping all the gold that you find for me. All qualified applicants can apply in person at the camp. So remember, you're digging for me. Oh, yeah. All right, I guess he really had to take a bathroom break because he's still not back yet. So anyways, he had to go get a drink, because today somebody said it was National Drink Day. Oh, I see. National Drink Day is back.
Oh, there we go. Hello.
Oh, that's a squirt or something. Oh, you got to. Okay. Well, then you know what? I got a trusty ice machine right here. But you can never go anywhere without a good ice machine.
What? I want one of those. Does the Coke machine work? Oh, that's a slot machine or what? What do you got?
Yeah,
behind?
it works. It works. It's unplugged right now, but it does work.
Oh, that's cool.
It was too bright, so I had to unplug it because everybody kept saying want me to play it, so I had to unplug it. Okay, I got to put in me some of my goofy juice in here. That just helps keep me a little goofy.
I can see the chat too, everybody. So if anyone has any specific questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, people were asking, oh, did you send me? Oh, I need to pee.
That was a while ago, man.
Oh, okay. I just saw it. Yeah, sometimes you just got to tell me. Let's see. Where'd we see anything? Okay, so Tad said, yeah, they would put mercury on copper plates. That was on the stamp mill. The copper plates would be behind the stamp mill as it came over. You had to capture that. They also had copper gold pans. They would pan the stuff in and then scrape that. One time years ago, I was playing with mercury, and I had a copper gold pan, and so it was all out. Oh man, I can't even say that word. Amalgam in the copper gold pan, and it was all in there. I thought that's really cool. I'm going to burn it out with acid. So I put some nitric in it, and it's fuming and all that, and I'm kind of putting it away from me and holding it not to breathe it. I'll tell you what, nitric and copper don't go together. You can put nitric in plastic and nothing will happen to it. But you put nitric in a copper pan and it ate through that copper pan and all my gold. And I was going up there, wow.
Yeah, man, you got to do some reading before you go using chemicals,
Well, sometimes we learn as we go.
Well, that's the miner's way for sure.
And then somebody said earlier, the Mad Hatters and all that. Mercury, they used to coat the brims of their hats and to help keep it soft. And that was the Mad Hatters. They'd all go to La La Land because they were all
burning mercury and breathing it. That's when it. Okay, so here's the other thing too: is you can basically chug a jar of mercury, and you'll just like poo it out the next day. It's not that big of a deal. There's been little kids, and I'm not saying do it. Full disclaimer here: do not do this at home, folks. But there's been, stories of people that kids who get a hold of a jar of mercury and pug it, and they survive because again, it's the methylation point, which has to do with temperatures. And until it's actually breathed in as a gas or introduced into your bloodstream through a cut, it's not that dangerous, And so that's why I'm saying when you're using the nitric acid, like you're saying, to get rid of mercury, all that does is change it into a fume, and it's going up into the air, and it goes out into the trees, and it goes poof right back on the ground, 50 feet away from your house. So you're not doing yourself any favors by using nitric acid to get rid of mercury. You're not doing neighbors any favors by doing it.
No, you should never do that.
The best way is to get a retort and a real retort, a water-cooled retort. They're like $200. You can find them all over the place, eBay and other places.
I've got some sitting over there.
Yeah, and if you know how to do it properly, obviously never do it indoors, do it outdoors. But a retort contains it, where it collects all the mercury and it's done properly. So don't go nitric acid and mercury.
Well, so I did the nitric and I put it in. Then I'll throw in the copper pennies or copper wires, and then of course all the mercury sucks back to. So I did a little video a long time ago, and that's what I'm saying. Don't do what I do. Do what you're supposed to. Do not turn me into the EPA. I live in California, yay.
So
I don't ever do anything by the books. We learned. I get myself in more trouble. Anyways, but so mercury. Actually, years ago, I had a gold pan in my garage with black sand, and it was full of mercury. And as I passed back and forth, I'd shake it a little bit to absorb it and kept doing that. After a couple of weeks or whatever, I got really sick. And the diarrhea and a lot of that. And I'm thinking, I wonder if I got mercury poisoning. And with the pamphlet that they gave you, that was the 3M, and they had an 800 number on it. So I called that number and I told them, they said, take that outside immediately. Yes, you can still get mercury poisoning in the raw form. I thought you had to actually physically burn it to get the mercury poison. I didn't know you could get it just by having mercury, playing with the mercury. So I took it outside.
You can't,
but it
really
went away.
I mean, they tell you these things, and then they have these warnings, especially here in California, where they're like, don't eat the fish. They're full of mercury.
Yeah.
But the truth is there's never, not once, been a case of mercury poisoning from a person eating fish.
No.
Never, not once. We've researched it. A lot of people have. And no one has come up with any case of anyone ever getting mercury poisoning from eating fish. So again, I think a lot of these things that people hear are fear mongering. Improper information and education is the key.
Well, remember the old thermometers? How many people did they bite the thermometer and they had mercury poison, and they drank
That's not
mercury?
true. I bit a thermometer.
Yeah.
As a kid, totally. It was like, oh, let me see how hard I can bite this till it breaks. I don't know why we do those things, but I totally did and got a bunch of it in, no problem.
Right.
There's stories of little kids chugging jars, like I said, of it. And
or you take the mercury to school and you're playing with it on the desk in your hands and coating silver dimes. It's nobody died from it, but now you drop a drop of mercury on the ground and it's like, oh my God, here's hazmat, shut down the place. It's like, really?
Yeah.
But you have to come to my yard and see all the mercury. No, never mind. No, that doesn't happen. No, never mind.
He doesn't have any. He's just lying.
No, there's no mercury there. Never mind. Or all the acid either. Never mind. I live in California, 342 driveway, El Beso, California.
Yeah. So, anyway. So, Jack, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What's your biggest cleanup you've ever had mining in one day? Yeah.
On gold?
Yeah.
I can't answer that. I don't know, man. I mean, if I go out and dredge and clean up, you might end up with, several grams or something like that. But, I really can't answer that.
I understand. Yeah, there's a lot of questions like, what metal detecting, dredging, sluicing, panning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep gold. I don't keep my gold. I buy, trade, sell, give it away constantly. I don't have any gold on my property, so nobody come to rob me. I don't have any gold here.
I don't want your gold. I just want the Coke machine behind you, right
there. Yeah. I give my gold away. Gold to me is just a commodity. It's just for trading purposes only. I don't like. Once upon a time, I think my biggest gold finding metal detecting is probably like 3/4 of an ounce.
That's awesome. I've not done that.
No, and I used to hoard it, and I used to like pull it out of the safe and look at all my gold, and then I put it back into and then you put it back in the safe, and eventually this thing went off in my head. Said, "Why am I doing this? Sell the gold, buy equipment to get more gold." I've never kept gold since. Don't have it. Yeah. I can show you pictures of all the gold, but I don't keep gold.
I'm the same way. I'll be honest with you. I don't have the gold bug. I never have had the gold bug. To me, it's always been a means of business, finance, and heritage, right? That's the other thing I've not mentioned on the show is that my family's been here in Grass Valley in Nevada County for 5 generations. I'm 5, so my kids are 6, so 6 generations now. And we were loggers, miners. The guy who taught me how to gold mine was my great grandpa. He lived to be 94 years old, I believe. And he was climbing on his roof and under the house to fix things until he was like 92. These guys were, the toughest people. He was born in, I believe, 1908 or 1904, actually. And so to me, it's heritage. And that's what's so cool about it is the history, the heritage, all that kind of stuff. And I've had great days. I mean, I've found an ounce in a day once just with shovels in a sluice box in a creek. I've dredged up multiple ounces over runs that take a few days. And, so I've definitely done a lot of things. And to me, it's all just money, and that's what gold is. And people like hoard it like it's something special or different. But to me, it's just a means of finances.
I asked you a long time ago, where you keep all your gold. Somebody asked me that, do you keep your gold in the safe? I keep my gold in the bank. Whenever I want it, I go get it. It might be in that bank, that creek bank, that bank. Whenever I want gold, I just go get it. It's always in the bank. It's always in the bank someplace.
That's true.
Jordan Hagar says, what if I have an area that is open to claim but is landlocked by private property? Is there absolutely an easement to BLM managed?
No, it really would depend on the private property. There's a law called RS 2477, which was included way back when in the old mining laws. It's been beat up through the years in court to where it's not quite as valid as it used to be. But if there's old roads that you can prove that these roads have been there since, before a certain amount of time, and I can't remember the exact date, then yes, you can actually get access to it. A lot of times it takes a court case, which can be very expensive with lawyers, civil case. So you better make sure that it's worth getting in there, because it's going to cost you $50,000, $60,000 in lawyer fees just to obtain that type of access through private property. It is possible, but in most cases, you probably don't have the resources to pull it off.
No. Years and years ago, I had a claim one time, and I used to have to drive through private property to get to the claim. Then one time, all of a sudden, there's a gate up, and I could no longer drive through that. And I contacted BLM because technically I cannot be landlocked out of my claim. They told me, but I can't go through private property. However, if I wanted to put up the money, I could make a road around their property, but I would have to pay for that to do that.
Yeah,
So,
any improvements you would have to do yourself, certainly. And not only would you have to pay to do it, but you'd have to pay them for permits. And, like I said, it's very intensive as far as legal things go. And even if there is an old road that exists, but they've put up a gate and it's an illegal gate, they shouldn't have it there, because there are right-of-way roads that are, given to people. But again, it takes a civil court case to solve any of these issues. And in order to get into that, you need a lawyer. And there's very few. In fact, I can't even think of one lawyer that deals with those types of property disputes as a specialty. You can hire anybody you want, but they're all going to cost you a bunch of money and not have a lot to offer.
No. And in the end, they probably got deeper pockets than you. So that question is probably still answered too.
Right.
Are you allowed to access via waterway? Waterways are some waterways are public, some are not. So what's your feelings on that?
I think you're asking about, what's it called? I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but basically people think that because it's a navigable waterway that they can get out and enjoy the surfaces and get out and do mining, that. Well, that is not true. If it's private property or even a mining claim along a navigable, someone else say that for me, a river that you can go down, they will not allow you to get out and use any of the surface. That law is basically only meant for someone who wants to raft down a river, who goes through private property. You do have a right to do that in some areas. And but as far as getting out and mining or getting out and doing anything, getting out in general, it's not legal.
I remember years ago being in Colorado, we went dredging on some property, and there were people that they raft down and all of that. And the property owner said rafters come through here all the time. But as far as like the actual river, he owned halfway through the river, and the people on the other side owned the other half of the river.
Typical. Yes.
So if we could dredge or get in the river, we could only technically go only halfway out into that river.
Yeah. And that's pretty common. That happens with most private properties. In fact, I used to own a piece of property that had a creek on it, and they couldn't find our lower stakes because they were in the middle of the creek. They probably weren't even stakes there. The deed says that it goes to the middle of the creek and up. And the thing about that is that the creek can actually change. And when it changes, say it changes towards you or towards your neighbor, you've gained or lost property, and that's legal. Yeah. No, these are written weird like that. And it is true. But I wanted to say, Jordan, you said maybe asking permission to pass would be a good option. you bet. That's always the best option. You know, be friendly, be nice, ask, maybe even offer something in return. And you'd be surprised how many people would be willing. And people hear gold and they're like, oh, really? There's gold here? Oh, I'd love to see that. And then, you know, as soon as you find gold, they're like, oh, never mind, go on out of here. You know, hey, man, it's worth it to begin with.
I've always heard it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
Not as a gold miner. Not as a gold miner, because that could get you shot.
Well, that part's true. Yeah, that part. I mean,
depends on how much you're willing to risk.
That, you know, I used to talk. I remember one time I was talking to this old timer. This before I was even involved with gold, and he had some claims, and he told me these guys were playing in the river, and he came up on them, and he ordered them out of the river. He had a pistol on them, brought them out of the river, made them strip down all their clothes. He said, I was nice enough to at least let them keep their tennis shoes, and they hiked all the way back to the highway. They got the sheriff, came back. And he said, I told them they were in my property, and the sheriff said, you should not have been in his property. And that was the end of it. Back in those days, you could get away with that stuff.
You can't do it now. Oh,
not now. No.
You do that, you're going to jail for probably 5 different felonies.
That's it. You know, I mean, I've gone out on claim, and I've told people, hey, you guys are on my mining claim. And they say, well, prove it to me. And so I can show them the page. They either prove it or shoot me. And I can have a pistol on my side. Dude, you're out here in the middle of nowhere and you're telling me to shoot you? I mean,
are you fucking
really?
stupid, man? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they tend to frown on you nowadays, but back in the old days, it was mining. And mining has changed a lot, and we adapt to the new changes and we live with it. And we
got to keep fighting. That's the thing is, again, education. If you know what your laws are, and they're like, that's it, right? People can say what they want in the forestry or BLM, or somehow government can say or do what they want to say, right? But in the end, what really matters is case law. And not only case law, but mining law. Some of it goes towards miners' favor, some of it doesn't. But a lot of it does go towards miners' favor. And if you're educated on these things, then they can't, like, they'll try to do things to you, but they can't, you know, it doesn't work. And they threaten and threaten and threaten. But then they usually go away after the first, you know, week or two. They're gone, don't care. So again, I want to encourage gold miners out there. It's not as bad as you're told, you know, it's really not. And the key to it not being as bad as you're told is education. And if you're having a trouble finding that education and laws and these types of things, and I'm not trying to plug PLP, but they are the main source of all of my knowledge. And if you guys want to get involved with a mining community and a organization that's actually doing things to support gold mining and helping, then PLP are the guys to get with, you know.
And I know they're in the mining journal too. And a lot of people will say, research in your local area for a local mining club, join the local clubs, because that'll be your best bet in your area.
It's very true. Yeah, exactly. Do that. And not only will you meet friends, you will meet people that can give you opportunities that you didn't have before. You know, so being involved socially isn't only good for the mining community as a whole, but it's good for yourself because you get to extend your opportunities as a miner or a prospector.
Well, I've got this on order, this new ICMJ detector, as soon as it comes out.
I've been hearing about that. I don't know much about that.
I can't wait. You know, Chris Ralph, he does a lot of articles in your magazine. He's got a YouTube channel. Chris Ralph is a wealth of knowledge. He sometimes rambles, but he's a very smart person. Anyways, he's
I'll
part
give
of
you
an
guys
editor.
some breaking news here. A lot of people don't know this, but it's coming out in the November issue. Very sad. But Chris Ralph has retired from the ICMJ.
No.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Really tough.
I'm gonna have to take
so,
over his spot.
This is the first public announcement of that. He actually retired last month, and in the upcoming issue, he's going to give us a farewell. And so we have other people in line that we're trying to get him replaced. But the thing is, he's
Here I am.
He's written over 350 articles for the ICMJ. Wow. He's been with us with me for a few months and with the ICMJ for 20 years, almost 19 some odd years. And he just says he's running out of things to say to us. And you can't blame him after 350 articles.
No, I understand. I better he was on the show once years ago. I better contact him and tell him I better get back on the show again. But okay, I'll start writing the articles. Okay. I know.
He'll still be around. He said he's still going to write us articles, just not as common as it has been. And we have a couple other guys that are actually geologists that we're talking to hopefully groom into people to sort of replace Chris, which is impossible, as we all know. But these are the growing pains we go through,
Yes, Chad, that is true. I'm not a geologist. I tell people I'm not a geologist, but I'll tell you where gold is not and why it's not. Okay. Let's start wrapping things up. Okay, anybody that wants to get involved with the Mining Journal, contact you on any laws that you talked about, permits, or any information, how can they contact you personally to go forward with anything else?
Well, there's the ICMJ phone number, which I can't tell you off the top of my head. You can Google that. It ends in 1500. But my personal email through the ICMJ is josh@icmj.com. Don't show that one. It's missing the .com.
No, it's the phone number. It's 1-831-479-1500.
Well, we can't see it, but that's all right. They heard it.
Where my thumb at? Right there. Okay.
Can't see it.
Anyways, okay.
Anyway.
You're right about the 1500. Okay.
Yeah. So you can call us there, and we're here from 10 to 6 Monday through Friday. And then also, like I said, my email is josh@icmj.com. And, we really do want the community to get more involved with articles in the magazine. I think that without the community being involved, the magazine is nothing really, except for advertisement. So we really encourage people, if you feel like you want to write something for us, you don't have to be a geologist. You don't have to be anything. If you've got something you want to share, share it. We'd like to at least look through it and see if it's something that we want to publish.
Absolutely. To me, so I might look through here and I say, dredging in California, tough. That ain't me. Dredging in North Carolina, that ain't me. High banking, California, that ain't me.
Well, sure, but what is you?
Well, I'm getting to that point. And then it says dry washing Arizona. Oh, there's something I might be interested in because now it relates to me. But what I'm kind of referring to is you cover such a broad scope of metal detecting that can be for everybody. And, you can still learn something about the dredging in California or the high banking in Mississippi or whatever. But when the articles tend to be more towards your home front or more what you're into, those you're looking at, reading, because everything, I don't care if I know everything, somebody can teach me something. And I think there's so much wealth and knowledge out there in everybody's, something. And that's where I think this journal is just a wealth of knowledge. And I don't mean that because we like you.
Well, I do appreciate it, Jack, and I appreciate everybody's support. I've been reading the comments. Thanks for coming in, Chuck and Nomad, and Tad, Patty, and Richard, everybody else, Jordan. And thanks for hearing us out, and hopefully we'll be back on some other time.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Gold Show in Quartzsite next.
Hopefully we'll be there. You bet. We're planning on it.
All right. So before I let you go out, I got to ask you one final question.
You got it.
What's probably your best advice you could give anybody who's just starting out in the prospecting hobby?
Well, it's going to go back to what you were just saying. Join your local clubs. Meet people, get to know people. Not only will you gain knowledge in gold mining or prospecting, but you also make friends. There's a lot of really good people in the mining community that just want to be buds with people. Everybody wants somebody to go mining with. And there's lots of people out there to make friends with. And I think that joining whatever club is in your area, whether it be the GPAA or RGM, Reinke Gold Mining, or, there's lots of smaller local clubs, even places like yours that you have claims and group digs and things. That's the best way to do it, because it plugs you right into the community. And those are the people you want to learn from. YouTube videos on how to gold mine and those kind of things are good. They get you started thinking about it. But until you get out there and really actually do it and have someone show you, it's very hard to learn on your own. So find someone to get out there with. Find a partner.
That's right. It's always better and funner with somebody else rather than by yourself.
And especially if they know more than you do.
Well, socks are easier to know when we can. Okay. Anyway, Josh, I appreciate you taking some time hanging with us this evening, and fun.
Thanks for having me.
So, hey, till we meet again, I hope you guys all be safe. Take care of yourself. Get out and get some little bit of that gold. Be safe. Thank you, Josh. So until next time, you guys all be safe. We'll talk to you guys all later. See you guys all.
Thanks, guys. Bye, everybody.